Okay. My assessment will be a reading comprehension assessment that will focus on students with diverse instructional needs. The classroom will have 7 students. So one student example will be Kamal. Kamal is on a third grade reading level and can read and write independently. Kamal will receive the reading passage and comprehension questions simply printed on a piece of paper. There will be 2 other students in the class who will receive this format for the assessment as well. Malik will be our second example. Malik is on a second to third grade reading level, but he requires some assistive techniques during comprehension assessments. Malik can write independently, and Malik will have corresponding highlighted areas of his assessment. So the first question will be highlighted blue, and then the corresponding part of the reading passage where Malik can find the answer will also be highlighted in blue. Malik will also be provided with a reading ruler so that the passage is not overwhelming and he can focus on the few words that are in front of him through the reading ruler. And there will be 1 other student that will get this same format as Malik. William is on a kindergarten to first grade level, um, and that's his independent reading level, but he can listen to a story and verbally answer comprehension questions at a third grade level. William is unable to write independently, but he can trace some words. He has some fine motor issues, but he can trace. He just gets frustrated when the amount of verbiage is too much. William has a one-to-one support staff that's with him throughout the day, and William's one-to-one will read the story to Will and then ask him the questions out loud. As William answers the questions verbally, the one-to-one will write his answers in a highlighter, which William will then trace over. And our fourth student example is Ricardo. Ricardo is a nonverbal student who can identify picture word cards but cannot read on a functional level or write independently. Um, the story will be read to Ricardo. However, Ricardo's questions will be administered as the story is read instead of all at once at the end. This is so that the questions are more fresh in Ricardo's mind. He will be provided with picture word choices, and the questions will be asked out loud to Ricardo by the teacher, and then he will be provided with the picture word choices on the desk to choose from for the correct answer. And his field of choices will be limited to 2 options. This assessment would be used to measure reading comprehension skills as well as listening comprehension skills and the effectiveness of differential instructional strategies. Kamal could have had the same assistive techniques that Malik uses, and then through scaffolding was weaned off of those to the academic place where he's currently at, and that's the student who's simply just receiving the test and the questions as they're written. This assessment also gives students like Ricardo and William, who may not be able to independently read the passage or even verbally communicate the answers, but this provides them the opportunity to show that they're still comprehending the information. And it gives us the chance to assess how well they're comprehending that information. This assessment can be given at the beginning of a lesson to give introductory information on a topic, or at the end of a lesson to see what the students have learned, or even as a review. So my written passage is about the students in my class. The good thing about this assessment is that it can be altered to any subject. If you're going over the life cycle of a frog, you can do a little narrative about from eggs to tadpoles to froglet to frog and have them go through that information if that's what your lesson is for that week or that cycle. The learners and the intended target. So the answers will be recorded, the worksheets will be collected at the end. Kamal and Malik will hand in their papers. The person who traces William's answers for him, and then the person who records Ricardo's answers on a separate piece of paper as he picks out of his word choices will be collected as well. So after the assessment, The students will be verbally redirected to their schedule, which will show them that they have snack, and then after snack is their independent work session. So during their independent work session, the teacher and the instructional assistant will take the time to go to each student individually and go over their answers from the assessment with them, and then work with them to find the correct answers if they got any wrong. So the target that I would work towards is that I would want students to be able to answer 5 comprehension questions about a passage with 80% accuracy. So essentially 4 out of 5. And that's provided with different instructional strategies, one-to-one assistance if necessary, and like I said, different forms of communicating and answering the questions depending on the level of the student. So I'll keep my students moving towards this target with ample opportunities to practice the skills like morning work sessions, group language arts, which we would do twice a week, and also supplementary reading class either as a group or individually with a reading specialist at the school. I would also provide specially designed instruction such as the one-to-one assistance, the highlighting for Malik, the reading rulers, and the PECs that are used throughout the assessment. So I do have my physical examples. So this would be for the students on Kamal's level. So this is simply the story written out, and I can read that out. It's William called Kamal on Saturday. Kamal could not go play because he was going to the circus. Kamal could not bring William to the circus with him. William was very sad. William decided to walk to the park. He saw Malik and Ricardo on the swings. Malik just got a new video game. He invited Ricardo and William over his house to play it. William was very happy. And then this would be Kamal's set of questions. Who did William call on Saturday? Why couldn't Kamal go play? Where did William decide to walk to? And what kind of toy did Malik just get? And how did William feel at the end of the story? So you'll see that there's no really differential instruction included with this assessment. It's just as is on paper because Kamal has shown himself to be on the level to be able to complete that assessment. For Malik's assessment, as I said, it would be color-coded. So we'll see the first question, who did William call on Saturday, is highlighted in blue. So then that sentence where we have William called Kamal on Saturday is also highlighted in blue. And then like we said, Malik would be provided with a reading ruler. There it is. So that he can focus on the words at hand and not be overwhelmed by the page as a whole in the beginning. And these are the instructional methods that we would have applied for Malik's level and what he showed us that he needed so far. For William's assessment, he would again have this story read out loud for him, and then his one-to-one assistant would transcribe his answers in highlighter. And you see here we have William, he got the first answer incorrect. So this is one that his one-to-one assistant would go over with him afterwards, and they could refer back to the story to find the correct answer. But we would have William's original incorrect answer marked in order for assessment and in order to collect data towards our goal. And then these would be the PECs used for Ricardo's assessment. He would again have the story read aloud to him. And then when we got to certain parts, for instance, the sentence that says, Kamal could not bring William to the circus, William was very sad. We would read that question and then ask Ricardo, how did William feel when he could not go to the circus? And we would present him with one card that showed sad and one card that showed happy. And it would be up to Ricardo to then choose the correct card, and the teacher or whatever staff is doing the assessment with Ricardo would then record his answers so that we could again collect those for data later on. So to show you how this might go in a classroom, we would presumably give this at the same time, but I would have my instructional assistant maybe administer the assessment to the students that are around Kamal and Malik's level. They could have it explained to them that just, hey guys, we have a reading passage here. There's going to be a few questions at the end. If you have any questions along the way, just raise your hand, ask your question, and Mr. Dan will be able to help you, the IA. And then the test would be administered to the students. They would be given ample amount of time to complete the task. If students need more time afterwards, then the students who are finished would then be brought through their schedule. They would be given their snack, and then the students would finish up that still needed their time to finish the assessment. Malik would then have these explained to him. If it was the first time he was using these, presumably in the class, Malik would be used to these by now if we were already this far through the school year. But if it was the first time, we would explain these to Malik and any other students who had these, probably after the test was administered, so that we weren't kind of broadcasting it out to the whole classroom. And then as far as William's exam goes, William would be working with his one-to-one. The story would be read to Will, so it would be, William called Kamal on Saturday. Kamal could not go play because he was going to the circus. Kamal could not bring William to the circus with him. William was very sad. William decided to walk to the park. He saw Malik and Ricardo on the swings. Malik just got a new video game. He invited Ricardo and William over his house to play it. William was very happy. Okay, well now I'm just going to ask you a few questions about the story we just read. The first question is, who did William call on Saturday? And then William, his first response was Mommy, and even though it's incorrect, we record it, and then we will go over the answers later with Will to refer back to the story and find the correct answers. And we will just go through 1 through 5 with William and write down in highlighter what he says and have him trace the words after each question. And Ricardo's assessment would look more like this. So, William called Kamal on Saturday. Okay, Rick, so who did William call on Saturday? Did William call Kamal or did William call Mr. Jeff? And we would provide wait time and wait for Ricardo to either point to or pick up and hand us the correct picture card. Kamal could not go play because he was going to the circus. Kamal could not bring William to the circus with him. William was very sad. All right, how did William feel, Rick? Did William feel happy or did William feel sad? Again, we would wait for Ricardo to choose his answer. William decided to walk to the park. Ricardo, where did William decide to walk? To school or to the park? He saw Malik and Ricardo on the swings. Malik just got a new video game. He invited Ricardo and William over his house to play it. Where did Malik invite Ricardo and William? Did he invite them to the bank or did he invite them to his house? William was very happy. How did William feel at the end of the story? Did William feel happy or did William feel sad? And so this assessment would require at least a teacher, an instructional assistant, and a one-to-one. And it hits on all various different levels. And it's good because it can be used, like I said, for different subjects as well, different topics. So that would be my assessment for reading comprehension.